Good morning, folks. How are you? So I can hear myself. So we're looking at micro Nasdaq. I don't have a lot of time, so I'll just squeeze this in. I wanted to see the consumer sentiment number or whatever the medium impact news driver is going to be at 10 o'clock. So I'll watch that with you. I'll review yesterday's bit of business, but I just want to take a quick look at what we have here. We have a premium gap opening at 9:30 opening price, regular trading hours, previous settlement, regular trading hours. So there's our opening range gap. Consequent encouragement comes in at uh, basically 27,080. I like the relative equal lows just beneath that, right over here. See how that's real smooth right there. Don't pay attention to this red line. That's just me drawing something from yesterday's trade. It's irrelevant. Don't pay any mind to it. I just don't want to remove it yet until I do the review. It was a consequent encouragement of a gap. And then new day opening gap here. And the yellow line is consequent encouragement of new day opening gap. So we haven't come back to that yet. It's Friday. We're probably going to see a whole lot of acceleration in the war stuff overseas. So that may be an impactful Sunday opening. I had this annotated for buy side. That's still um, a factor for right now because we're close proximity to it. Right in here, right before the stream, I just dropped that line on there because I like that. I tweeted 27,063, I believe it was even. So that's the draw. We're at the top of the regular trading hours opening range gap, moving away from that now. Uh, we're in an octant, upper octant, just eyeballing it. You can do that measurement on the fib and get your actual levels. So acceleration to the downside, say they get really animated with the 10 o'clock news, returning back to new day opening gap. The higher in the upper half is reasonable. I'm not participating. I'm not suggesting that you do. I just wanted to treat tongue twister this morning. I just wanted to tape read with you for a minute or two before I do the review. Hey, girls, quiet. Come, Piper, come. That's a good girl. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I know I was talking about the likelihood of doing a shotgun Saturday. It's probably not going to happen on Saturday. Not to say it can't happen on Sunday, but I don't know what time I'm going to be finished doing family matters tomorrow morning. So I can't promise you a next space. So you're getting a little bit more scarce in terms of free time with the little guy in the equation. While we're waiting for 10 o'clock news, I'm going to go back to yesterday's high, and you'll see that red line because I'm going to remove it. Because while it looks like it's doing something here, it's really not of any consequence to me in my analysis or what I would expect this morning. So before we get into it, that's the red line here. So you'll see it was just me using a measurement of the fair value gap. I'll show you. So what we're going to do is show Wednesday's daily high. And I've taught this a lot over the years, and it's kind of like it's an endless supply of setups. Okay. So if you have an expectation of seeking something that's going to give you a plethora of framework, setup, context, trade towards the frame of model around trading around previous days highs and previous days lows are a limitless supply of opportunities. You don't need anything else but that. I know I say that a lot, but it's just to show you that there's lots of ways to just have a few things as a model and a criteria to take a trade. All right, so this purple line here, we're going to follow that along, and you'll see that that is where Thursday traded to. Okay, the difference is we had a buy side liquidity pool here inside the first hour stealing range. So from 9:30 there to 10:30, that's the high. Okay, so we pierced above that. I mentioned that we had a run into previous Asian session, all this business down here, and we look at that sell side and that sell side there. This inefficiency, which we'll draw on since I'm here right now. You'll see that was yesterday's. It's the gap before both of those sell side liquidity pools were taken, by the way. That's why I was highlighting that. Let's check it at 10 o'clock news, see where we're at with it. So here's Wednesday's high. So we trade down the Wednesday's high in that red level. I'm not interested in keeping that on the chart, so let me go back. All right, so we're looking at this little inefficiency right here. That, see what I'm anchored to? This candlestick's high, the volume and balance high right there between those two bodies. All that is it's marking the 50% level. Okay, that's all that is. So by me taking this out now, I was drawing it real quick so that way when I was doing the trade execution for yesterday, it was showing, I was highlighting rather, it was hitting that, and then I wanted to see it trade lower, which it did nicely. So this is going to accomplish the same thing. I just won't have that line going across the chart in the future, which is of no interest to me. Okay. So trading into Wednesday's high, I had 3 guys send me a message saying that this is BS. You can't short the all-time high. When I did it on Wednesday, and then I did it again on Thursday, just to kind of like let them know it's not just throwing darts and trying to see what sticks. Okay, there's several things here, even at all-time highs. Thursdays tend to create a intermediate term high in and of itself by itself through the application of weekly profiles. So even if we close high on the week today, it doesn't matter because you can take something in Thursday's afternoon during the lunch hour into like the PM session. Usually it creates an important high. It's tradable. Okay. And when you factor that also with the fact that we're at all time highs and it's just trading above Wednesday's high here after taking another buy side liquidity pool, which is the first hour's dealing range of trading for Thursday. All this mess down in here was layered sell side liquidity. So it was very, very probable for it to go down here and clean up that. Buy side here, we traded above it. And when it's doing these types of things, when it's bearish, I love seeing It's a very classic pattern. It's not mine. I didn't invent it. Okay. But there are times where it works really, really well. And it's the three drives pattern. Okay. In the Street Smarts books, they have a cute little name for it. They call it the three Indians pattern, which, I like the three drives pattern. This sounds more Fast and the Furious, manly. The three Indians pattern just sounds, I don't know how it doesn't, it don't fit. It doesn't fit my MO. Okay. So we're just going to go with the three drives pattern, which is the classic term for it. So the high here being taken. So we end up creating one high, two high, and three high. And then, well, when you see these types of things, when you see a high above buy side liquidity, when it's extremely overbought, and I don't need an indicator to tell me that, and neither do you, the likelihood of drawing down into this area here, it builds the likelihood of them staging in short positions. Who's they? Smart money. So what they do is they create a short-term high, start to drop it a little bit, and everybody is always trying to catch a top when they're a retail trader. Okay, and there's lots of breakout artists that want to buy the breakout. Okay, so no matter what you're trying to do, whether they're going short or if they're trying to capture a run higher, they're going to have a buy stop there to capture a breakout. Think about like those guys that trade the first hour's range and they look at this as an opening range breakout. Okay. They're going to get tripped up with this. That's why it works. So what I'm doing is I'm layering previous day's high with that and using a draw on liquidity down here. So I'm waiting to be the profiteer on watching everybody else hang themselves, chasing something that looks like a breakout. Bull flag traders. Okay. The real easy guys that, all I got to do is trade a bull flag. Okay. Well, bull flag, bull flag, bullshit. Okay, and it goes lower. So what I was showing you is I had already had the 1, 2, 3 expected and explaining how smart money would be shorting every time one of these short-term highs were taken. And when we traded above Wednesday's high, daily high, previous daily high, this is a wonderful area to anticipate a breakdown. So there's several things in here that you can do. You can toss a hook in the water and see if you can catch a intermediate term or long term high. Now, take the all time high out of the equation. If this was a bear market and we had been retracing 3 or 4 days in a bear market, and I saw this type of structure here, I'd be selling short the same way you watch me execute, both on Wednesday and Thursday. So it's not that, oh, it's BS. There's no confirmation. You don't know what confirmation is if you lead those comments, young man. So what I'm showing you here is the context. It's the reason why. Okay. I'm not trying to encourage you as inexperienced traders or casual viewers to go out here and try to trade short all-time highs. But it was me just answering a couple jawboners that were trying to say that this stuff doesn't work. You shouldn't listen to me. I can't trade. They can trade better than me. Let's go one on one. Okay. Well, here's 2 days worth. You catch up to what I just did in the last 2 days, and when you get past that, then we'll continue on. But for now, just take the old man's advice and say, look at the context as of what I was showing you. Okay. The fact that we started trading above Wednesday's high, I'm looking for fair value gaps right before this high is taken out. So what is that going to be here? What's that going to be? It's going to be something that causes bearishness. And I put this here to contrast the colors over here because at this point, it should be viewed, if it was going to be bullish, it would be treated as a discounted ready to go higher, but not if it's above Wednesday's high. Not if it's above Wednesday's high, and they left all of this obvious mess down here where they're going to come back for that. Okay, so in Steve Nielsen's group that subscribe to his candlestick theory stuff, whenever they see wicks like this, they view that as something bullish, some measure of accumulation. I see that as engineering liquidity. It's going to come back for that. Okay. Why? Because retail sees that as something that is quote unquote bullish, therefore support, therefore trustworthy. Stop losses are protected underneath all that. And I look at that and I cannibalize that. That's what I teach all of you. We look for people to trade with that logic where they feel that a specific location in price action is a safe place. Okay. And just like killer whales and orcas, they think those harp seals are sitting up on those little flats of ice in the water. They think they're safe from the killer whale until the killer whale says to his buddy, he says, listen, I'm going to run real, real fast towards that ice and you be on the other side because I'm going to duck underneath it real quick and it's going to slide down right into the water. Don't eat it all real quick. Save me some. And they do a coordinated strike. That's what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you all to be orcas. Okay. You're all killer whales in the making. But you have to see how it's done to appreciate it. Just watching this and assuming, oh, it's 15 different attempts and you finally got it. If you think that's what I was doing, then you get to use 50 chances and do what I do. Okay. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it's an old hat excuse. If you think it's easy to do and you can do it, then start doing it. Call the low of the day and then wait for the high to form and record the entire thing. And then let your target that you call for the day get hit with your target being hit in trade. It's very simple. Like you said, it's easy. So when I see those types of things, I'm neither impressed nor bothered by it, but it is entertainment. So because I saw comments sent to me on TradingView and on email saying that you got lucky with that. Well, I did it again yesterday. Okay. So it's not a matter of luck, it's a matter of conceptual ideas being applied to charts at the right time. This up close candle, this bullish fair value gap, when it's in a buy side liquidity pool, if I'm expecting it to drop and go lower and attack all this stuff as a first stage draw and ultimately looking for 805, which is what I tweeted yesterday, right in here. That's why these are here. Also, to upset the guys that want to pretend that they did these trades. I'm going to start doing these types of things. I'm going to litter my chart up with things I posted on X in advance. So that way, not only is it thumbing my nose at the people say it was cherry picked, but it's also like little tiny built-in watermarks. Okay, because you can't pretend to be me on another social media platform when my handle for X is right here, and I don't post anything on Instagram. I don't post anything on TikTok, and I don't have any other social media. So this is where it's all at. um, so anyway, this would change, and when I was drawing the line here for consequent encroachment midpoint of this gap. That changes to inversion fair value gap. Okay, and then working lower. Look at the bodies. It stayed after touching the midpoint here. The body stayed in the lower half. So right there, that's confirmation. Without confirmation, this is BS. Everything I teach in order flow, it's showing it here. The body showed the consequent encroachment respect here, up to consequent encroachment of that, then breaks down. We get a little tiny little mohawk, but where's the body at? In lower half. Can't even touch consequent encroachment and leaves it. Okay. Then we drop down into this one. Trades down here. We have a little bit of this disinterest getting back to the midpoint here. The bodies are staying outside of it by the low. We trade down, lower, lower. This one in here, I would have liked to seen it behave a little bit better in here. It didn't do it. So I realized I was going to have to weather a deeper retracement. That's why you see the stop loss stay really, really high up, because these deep retracements before the nice big run happens, that's been like the flavor of the month for a while now. So I'm kind of like protecting my positions when I take them to not allow that wild wick to come back up here and clear anything that's been trailed. And then it drops, or then it goes higher, whatever. So this buy center bound sell side inefficiency changes its first utilization from that of a bullish PD array if it trades down to it. I'm not bullish. Remember, this post here was posted at 7:45 a.m. Eastern time yesterday morning. I'm talking about how it's did some mess in Asia the night before, so I think they're going to revisit that. So what I did was I drew an area where I thought that it'd be easy to get to in terms of sell side liquidity, and I don't need the best case scenario, which is the fair value gap or inversion fair value gap there. Okay, so If we look at it from here, where we traded back up, the bodies are respecting the upper half and the high, rather. We break lower, no attempt to get a body touch on consequent encroachment. And then finally, we dump off. And you'll see I have an annotation that I want to see it start to lose some ground here and move lower. And I don't know, kind of like luck, it starts running lower. And it got aggressive into these lows down here. I expected this type of move, see this big sell off, real fast, sudden run to get underneath these lows. I wanted to see that in here, and then it retraced back up in. So as soon as I saw all of this disjointed price action, I was like, okay, well, it's going to have to go back to this, and they may wick it. I was expecting this to have a wick up into here, but keep the bodies inside. That would have been acceptable as well. But we ended up diving aggressively. We got that real fast sudden drop down, and then went into my terminus target at 26,805. Now, while we were spending all this time here, see how the candlestick started sharing the same space that the previous candle had? I don't like that. I don't like that, especially when I'm getting close to my target. So you'll see peeling off of a lot of the contracts in here. Some of the limit orders got filled over here. Okay. So there's all the accumulation of the shorts on here. And then nothing in here added until we got up to here. I like the return back to that. All of this in here in the high end of the inversion fair value gap, and then plummets. So when we get below these lows here, you start seeing the limit orders getting filled, and then I'm taking partials off, and then I'm taking, see how it's sharing all of this back and forth, previous candles range. It's sharing too much of the same previous candles range. I don't like that. So as soon as I start seeing that, I'm a little bit more generous about taking partials off and peeling them off. And we had a little bit of retracement in here, started dropping again. Once we started taking out new lows, this is called running down equity. Whenever you're short and you're getting close to a target and you can afford to do so, take a partial off every time we make another lower low, because you'll reward yourself for doing so when you get these one more lower low and then it reverses entirely. That's happened a lot in recent months. Okay, so taking partials, you never go wrong doing that. There's never been a partial profit that's been unprofitable. It's never happened in history. No matter who did it, no matter what style of trading you do, it's always been profitable. Okay, it's never not made money when you take a partial profit. So as it went down, it obviously smashed through it. I missed out on another 100 plus handles of a run, but I don't care about that, because if I can take this portion right there, right below my terminus line, right there, and then I'm building in shorts at the high of the day, and I'm getting out in the lower 90% of the range for the day, I'm not going to complain about that. And anybody else that wants to talk shit about it, you try to do half as good. Okay, I guarantee you won't. So the point is, these types of things um, build an expectation around what should or shouldn't happen in price action, and spending time over price charts, looking for these types of signatures, looking for them to support an idea, support a theory. It will help. It'll help. Um, we have these relative equal lows here that formed yesterday afternoon, and then we had a new day opening gap form here. And we're just hammering around. This one I like, and we're still, oh, well, it looks like, no, we didn't quite really bump it. It would have been better if they would have put a wick above that, maybe wick it up into this small little fair value gap. And then if it's sold off, I would like that. But in here, it looks a little too indecisive. Um, so just something to study. That being, uh, this area here, have that on your chart at 841 3/4. Had new day opening gap high, consequent encroachment and low. And I like these here. So just keep that on your chart. If it doesn't get to it today, they may revisit those levels on Monday. But that's the skinny for right now. Um, I'll hang out with the back for a minute. Just hang out till 10:30. That's fair. See what it does. You'll never be able to do that again. You got lucky. Okay. Here's another one. Daily high. Sell short. Now, because it's Friday, several things that are in my mind. So a lot of you guys like to know, like, what's my internal dialogue? What am I thinking? Not so much about what the candlesticks are doing, but like what calls for concern, if ever, or what things do I really like about what might happen in a specific trading day or a session, or how we close for the week. Look at it this way: we're sending a lot of equipment over to the Middle East, and I think this whole ceasefire thing's just been a way for us to regroup and put more pieces on the chessboard. A little bit more heavy artillery being brought over. I think, if I'm not mistaken, either today or tonight, um, they should have another aircraft carrier over there by now. They were sending one over. So I think what might happen is they'll probably ramp this thing up over the weekend, and we'll see a lot of increase in terms of the war stuff. What that does for the market, I'm every weekend we go into one. Um, I feel like Chicken Little because I feel like we're gonna close the session on a Friday when nobody can take any trades. We can't get out of positions if you carry them over the weekend, which anybody at this point that's doing that, man, you have a lot more courage than I do. I could not stomach having a position over the. I mean, worth holding. Obviously, putting a single micro over the weekend isn't going to break somebody, but holding a normal type of trade size and carrying that over weekend risk, gap risk on Sunday at 6 p.m. Yeah, we're going to see something that creates mushroom cloud. Okay, I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and when that does, what this market's going to do after that, I guess it really is up for a great debate. But I would think that this thing would go down so hard because once we see that type of weapon used, not just tested, that changes everything for every country that has them. Well, you used it, so now we are going to use it. And once that changes the whole paradigm of war and what's permissible for war, offense or defense, it changes. And I believe we're going to see that type of event. It may not be this weekend, it may be another weekend, okay? But most likely in your lifetime, you're going to see it where we have a market at a really nice, healthy close on a Friday. And then something terrible is going to happen. And we're going to open up significantly lower as a result of it because they have people trapped. And that's what we're doing here. We're making all time highs, but we're not ripping and roaring higher. And if I were a bull, and I'm not, um, I would have expected today to continuously keep going up. But there's really no reason to be where we're at. Stocks don't have any real reason to be where they're at. So that's another testimony that it's rigged. It's just it's nonsense. But I'm thankful it exists because it's a piggy bank that never runs out of money. If you know what you're doing, it's a piggy bank that never gets empty. Now, your trading account, you can empty that out real quick doing silly stuff, but the opportunities are always there. And as long as you keep yourself in the game and don't squander it, waste it, and gamble it, you'll always be able to find something to trade. But we have to take consequences on that's higher risk right now. But you can offset that, mitigate it with lower leverage and less frequency in trading. I understand that if you're relatively new, The misnomer is the market is moving around a lot when it does. And if I can put a position on that's significantly larger than I normally do, I could get lucky and get a really big win. And that is a trap right now. That's why a lot of the folks that you see online, when they're honest, and I appreciate that when they say it, when they blow their accounts, when they say they blow their funded accounts or they failed their challenges because they just wanted to get through it or they want to get something as a big payout. That's the honey. Okay, that's the nectar that brings you in to the flower, and the flower is trading. But what you don't realize is what you think is that real pretty flower you're going to land in and suck the nectar out of it and make money. You're landing in Venus flytraps and you're getting devoured. But you're putting yourself there because you're trying to chase something instead of saying, let me just try to get one micro once or twice a week, take something out and live to do it again the following week and put a little bit of scratch in your pocket, a little bit of cheddar, and then hopefully make the weekend a little bit more palatable because you can afford to do something. Take your wife out, take your husband out, take your kids out on a Saturday movie event and splurge a little bit with whatever you're getting out of the market. Because right now, everybody's getting depressed, everybody's getting angry. I mean, just look at people on the internet, look on social media. I'm out here trying to do something nice and share, experience with all of you. I'm not charging you anything. And people still come over here now and talk shit. That tells you that they're miserable. And while I have a lot of fun with people doing that, I felt the Lord talk to me last night. And while I've had a great deal of fun sporting with people like that and goofing off, the assumption is I think you're going to take that as joking from me. And I don't think that that's going to be always the case because as things get more difficult, they're going to get offended. And if I say something that's I'm talking shop talk. Okay. Shop talk is like when you're on the job site and your coworkers, they razz you, they call you names and they goof with you. Most of the time, everybody understands that's what happens. It's a locker room talk. Nobody really takes it serious. But because of the weight of everything that's going on in the world and people that are making money online doing whatever they're doing, maybe they're losing less of that because of everybody not being able to spend the money to support their things that they're selling. They're going to get a little bit more aggressive and they may start doing things or saying things that are uncharacteristic. And I don't want to be a catalyst for that type of thing. So I'm going to try to dial back to full on Mr. Rogers because I don't want anybody's feelings getting hurt when I'm just trying to be fun. Like I'm not trying to like when you take shots at me, I'll return back to you. But it's not to hurt you. It's not meant to hurt you. It's not meant to embarrass you. Um, and I think a lot of other people on social media should probably start doing the same thing because you don't know what people are doing to themselves and what state of mind they're in. I have people come into my house all the time, knocking on the door. They want to get pictures with me. They leave me gifts and things. And please don't do that stuff. I'm never asking you to do that. In fact, it's the opposite. I don't want any of you to do those types of things. And you're invading privacy. You're trespassing. You're doing things that's not welcome. And my family, we don't get guests over here. Like that's not. We don't do those types of things. We don't entertain guests over here that we don't know. And I'm never going to come outside and say, "Oh yeah, let's get some pictures taken together." Don't do that. So when I tell you I'm not interested in doing those types of things, don't be offended because I just did it again here, blanket. I'm not interested in doing that type of stuff. Okay. I don't know who you are. I don't want you around my family. And you could be somebody that wants to just get close enough to me and hurt myself or my family. And that's not a good thing because I promise you, you're gonna be fortified with lead before you walk away. I promise you that. So making threats to me and doing things like that or my family, all that kind of stuff has repercussions. So because of that type of stuff, I can't be so approachable. Okay. So I've always been introverted, but I have to be guarded on that because I'm somewhat, and I don't mean this to be Mr. Big Britches, but I'm somewhat of an online persona. And that online persona, that personality makes people think that I'm somebody that's special and they want to get an experience with me. And I'm not, I'm just a simple guy. So I felt the Lord talk to me last night and laid it on my heart that I have to be a little bit more careful about how I engage with all of you. And I can still teach, we can still have fun, but all the common tongue, all the back and forth type of stuff. Yeah, I feel like he's asking me to dial that stuff back. So that's where we're gonna start gravitating towards. Um, so if you like that Stone Cold Steve Austin character I put on for a long time, that's got to get buried now. I had fun with it, but I just don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt or get to the point where they want to take it personal because it's never been like that. And you've seen some other people, not just me, but other people. They've gotten very heated exchanges, and it's like, dude, over words, like, come on, man. So I got thick skin, even though you sometimes think I don't. I have very thick skin, but a lot of people out there may pretend they do, but really don't. And what would happen if you said something or tore into somebody, or you had your community come at them also, and they make a decision that is awful, and you can fill in the blanks about what that would be. That would stay with you the rest of your life, and that's where we're getting right now. I've had guns pointed at me in public. You know, it's getting stupid. It's getting really crazy, and online personalities. People have stalkers. I've had stalkers. Okay, um, you don't know what they're going to do. And I'm not living in fear, but I'm also reminding you that when you see others people, other online personas, when they're taking things too far, and that's all they're constantly doing is target drama content, be an upstanding human and cut that kind of stuff off. Don't consume it because honestly, what you're doing is you're monetizing someone that's absolutely toxic, and you don't know the depths of where people are and what things they would do. And you can get up here on the internet and talk Billy Badass all you want. But that one person that you've enraged, they can have lots of opportunities to try to get to you, but you don't have but one time to notice it before they get to you. Think about that. Some of you guys with a little bit of an audience, you think that it would never happen, but you don't know who's coming. You don't know who these people are that you're talking shit to and going off on. You don't know. And they can come at you looking real close. And once they get close to you, it's over. It only takes a second. I have been shot. I have been stabbed. I've had those things happen to me. It only takes a second to start bleeding out. So, just as a PSA, public service announcement for the other people that are media creators, if you're drama based, dude, seriously, you need to stop. You have no idea the pot you're trying to stir and the framework and the people's mindset today. Mm-mm. It's not worth doing all that shit. If that's all you got, if that's all you have to do in terms of marketing your stuff, what does that say about your product or your ability to hold an audience? You're not worth listening to otherwise. And that right there should be the community's perspective. If that's all you have is Jerry Springer esque type stuff, you need that in your trading life. You need that. I can tell you, people with money, people that love having a nice, pleasant existence, we're not turned on by that kind of stuff. We like continuity, we like peace, we like tranquility. Ain't nothing nicer than waking up knowing that you don't have any enemies and you're not trying to make any. And that's a good feeling. And social media has done the opposite of that. It's division. So they've kept that minor buy side there a little bit more intact than I would have liked to have seen. Came down here to Wednesday's high. I think if we get down below Wednesday's high again and we get acceleration below that low, they'll want to come down and take that out there. I would be content with that just for a Friday. So when I post things like I'm not interested in the market, it's because of how we traded to in the session before. Look at 7 o'clock in the morning. Here we have all this little consolidation, and at 7 a.m., boom, we had that big push right there. As soon as we see that kind of stuff, as soon as it starts running like that, I'm not interested because if it posts a move like that, generally the morning session is going to be lethargic. It's going to be uneventful. It doesn't mean I don't have an interest. Like I showed you the level at 27,063. I like that because it's part of the consequent correction of regular trading hours. Regular trading hours, consequent correction is this little dotted line right here. High is regular trading hours, opening range gap high, consequent encroachment. And right below consequent encroachment, what PD array or liquidity do we have? We have these relative equal smooth edges here. Okay. So that's why I gave you 27,063 and said it was noted. I have that on my chart. So if this were to start rallying higher and have a close higher on the day, or just keep on tearing off higher, it would not be something I would chase. I wouldn't be interested in doing it. And that's for the people that try to say like, oh, look, he posted something, and then hours later it went to his level, and then he claims, "See how smart I am? I'm the king. I'm the goat." I don't say those things. Okay, I don't like when other people call me that either. But um, if the goal is to short at the daily high, you have to wait for the daily high to book, and when it does, if you know what you're doing, you'll short it and go to the target you post in advance. That's all I've done. I mean, that's all I was doing. And did it back to back 2 days in a row. So when there's something for me to do, then I'm interested. But because there's pre-session delivery like this, we get these types of events. And that's why I said earlier, it would have been nice if it would have wicked above, maybe traded up into this little gap there with a wick, and then started selling off. Then it would change the tone of the market to a little bit cleaner, and it'd be very easy for it to get the consequent encouragement. And below consequent encouragement, just clean up that little relative equal lows that we have netted here at 63. But when I see this type of runoff, that means I got to wait until either trade the lunch hour, plural, or the PM session, or since it's Friday, have no real interest at all. I mean, I smashed it this week. Like, I literally, it's a murder scene. And, you know, back to back doing the same thing, selling the high and going to target is just something that, well, no, Wednesday, they kept me from getting my full target. I had like 90% of the run I wanted, but I had that big rip against the price range I was short in and ended up going for my stop. So it wasn't a loss, but it wasn't what I wanted to see in full target. So that was also another reason why I wanted to do Thursday because of the comments and because Phil got that last piece and I just wanted to take it out on his ass. So see how it's not wanting to get deeper inside of the regular trading hours opening range gap, that shaded area here, all this gray box area. Wednesday's high, it used that. There's a tiny little gap inefficiency right in here. See that? You had that wick right there. So whenever you see something like this where you have this small little civvy, but you have right to the left, you have that wick. The wick is what you want to use. So it'd be the last opportunity. Like say I was really wanting to take a short, say I wanted to be in there to take a run to consequent encouragement. It would need to start doing it now. It would need to get heavy here. And any rally above this candlestick's high right here, this one, I would no longer be interested in the morning session, and I'd cut bait and I'd go enjoy my weekend early. The reason why I say that is because we've had an attempt to try to get the buy side. It just seems like they left it there. Um, I would like to see it get heavy here if it wants this at all. And then once it goes to consequent correction, then rip up here and get the buy side. That would be something that I personally I would book the market like that, because it would also inspire everybody to get short when we get the half gap. And then by ripping it up here, you neutralize anybody that's already short, that's holding for lower prices into the close. So it does two things. It neutralizes both. So it's done what I said I would not want to see it do. So I'm not going to be able to stay with you any longer about it, because it's done enough to warrant why I said I'm not interested in today. So as a rule, what's the takeaway today? Because I gave you a little bit of a boring, um, maybe a little bit of a depressing um, commentary along with what I did as a review. But I think that what I said needed to be said, and hopefully from an account size and a personality like mine, hearing it from someone like me, maybe that might be impactful, and maybe I'll have a little bit more influence in the grand scheme of things with other influencers. That way we can guard ourselves a little bit more appropriately when it comes to other people, because we're content creators, yes, but before that, we're human, hopefully. And nobody really wants to see anybody hurt themselves or inspire others to hurt you or your family. And you don't know the weight of what's going on in other people's lives right now. And maybe them talking to other people on the internet is that last string of humanity they have left. And if you cause them to snap that, where's their inhibitions then? You never thought about it like that, have you? So that's what I got laid on me last night. And you don't have to agree with why I feel felt that was important to bring up today, but it still holds true. There's too much of, trying to tear other people down. And if other people have done things in the past, that's their past. Leave it alone. It's none of your damn business. Like, it's none of your damn business. And there ain't nobody on this internet, and I'm included. None of us are without sin. None of us are squeaky clean. We all did shit that we wish we wouldn't have done. And some of you keep putting yourself in drama and in trouble. You're in trouble constantly. Come on, grow up, do better. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you, Lord willing, on Monday.